Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. If you're new, my name's Janice and I'm a Thermomix consultant. Today we're going to make some biscuits, but I thought I would show you the different sugars we use when we're baking. So the very first thing I need to do is, I've got this. That's all the caster sugar I've got left. That little bit there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at our modes. So this is the main screen of the Thermomix. If you swipe it this way, you get our search screen, back to our home, and then drag it this way and we get our modes. The modes that we can use independently of Cookidoo recipes. So if we go to the chop mode, it then gives us a list of all the things that they've got programmed in for us to process. So if we go to sugar, and these are in alphabetical order, sugar, and we'll do 200 grams and then we'll weigh it. So we'll hit the scales and it'll take us to weigh. Now that's gone up to 248, but I mean that doesn't matter. And we're going to set it 17 seconds at speed 10. Now I'm going to stop that at 10 seconds because we're only making caster sugar. And it is a bit finer than what supermarket caster sugar is. Just depends on how long you process it for. A little bit further. If you're going to make icing sugar, I would do it for the first amount of time, let it cool down, let the bowl cool down, and then do it again. Rightio. So I'm only doing 200 grams because I don't even need 100 grams in my recipe. And now we're going to make brown sugar. So I don't need to wash the mixing bowl. I did show you that it was empty. See, and there's still a bit of sugar in there, but it doesn't matter. So we're going to go cross out of that, go back to our home, and then we'll go into my week. So I've saved the recipes I'm making into my week. And we're going my week, and I've got the dark brown sugar. So what I've done is I have saved everything I want to cook this weekend into today, and then everything I don't cook I will go into, and I can move it to another day and I'll set it for tomorrow at the end of the day. So we'll start cooking, and this is 8 ounces of sugar. So this is in pounds and ounces. So with your Thermomix, if your recipe, my default weight are grams and kilograms, but if the recipe uses ounces or pounds, your Thermomix automatically recognises that and changes your scales to recognise ounces and pounds. Oops. Once again, I've gone a little bit over. Now, it says it's 1 ounce of molasses, but I don't do quite an ounce because I want a lighter brown sugar. do 0.6 of an ounce. There we go. Put the lid on. 20 seconds on speed 4. And I'll get a spatula. Rightio. Now we're going to scrape it down. Put the lid back on, 20 seconds. Rightio, and then we're going to transfer it into our canister. I do like to empty my canister out before filling, but yeah, I don't do it all the time. Now, there's still a little bit of molasses stuck on the inside of that bowl, but I'm going to leave it there because the biscuits I'm going to make, first up I'm going to make Anzac biscuits. We've got Anzac Day coming up, and so we're going to make some Anzac biscuits. Rightio, so now we're going to go my week. And the 2 biscuits I've got saved are Anzac biscuits and the oatmeal raisin cookies. So, and we'll just start cooking. Preheat the oven to 160. I'll do that later. Line 2 baking trays with baking paper and set aside. Once again, I'll do that later. And now we're going to start off with some butter. So this is, I had like 2/3 of a bottle of cream in my fridge, which was past its use by date and I wanted to use up. So I made it into butter and buttermilk, and then I made a loaf of raisin bread with the buttermilk, and now I'm going to use up this bit of butter in these biscuits. Now I could eat it, we could just eat this, but as I said, the cream was past its use by date, so I just want to use this up quickly. So 120 grams of butter. Okay. 100 grams of golden syrup. Now I do make my own golden syrup, but I only make it when I want to use it like immediately, because I find I can't stop it crystallising. So I buy golden syrup as well, and it goes in the pantry for days like today when I am just doing some baking. some unplanned baking. Rightio, 100 grams. Let's see if we can do this. $104. That was so close. Right. Now we're going to put the lid on. And we're going to melt that together. So when I'm making my own recipes that aren't on Cookidoo, and it's a melt and mix recipe, I measure my wet ingredients that I need to melt, like butter and syrup, into the Thermomix, and I use the Thermomix to melt them, just using the warm-up mode. And I find that I don't have to bother with it. It's not like on the stove where you've got to watch it to make sure it doesn't boil over or burn. With the Thermomix, I can just set it and forget it. And I love that about the Thermomix. Rightio, I'll be back once this is melted. That's that melting timer. And now we're going to scrape down the sides of it. And that is beautifully melted. And that's also melted that bit of molasses that was stuck onto the side. Sorry. Once I start scraping, it's really hard to stop. A teaspoon bicarb soda. Here it is. Teaspoon measure. Rightio. Here's our teaspoon measure. Put the lid on. Seconds on speed 3. So when you're making traditional Anzac biscuits, you mix all the dry ingredients together, you make a well in the middle, and you melt your butter and syrup, stir the bicarb into the warmed butter and syrup, and then pour it into the well and mix it up. But this one's slightly different, but I actually quite like this recipe as well. So 100 grams of rolled oats. Let's go back. That's right. $150 grams of plain flour. $70 grams of light brown sugar. Grams of desiccated coconut, when my kids would always call it desecrated coconut, and they used to correct me every time. And they thought it was the funniest thing ever. Okay, lid on. 8 seconds. Speed 4 with the blade in reverse. Okay, and then it says place 2 teaspoons of the mixture on a prepared baking tray and flatten to approximately 5 centimetres in diameter. It makes approximately 30 biscuits and they spread during baking. So we bake for 9 to 12 minutes at 160 degrees until golden brown. Once you remove them from the oven, you leave them to cool on the tray for about 5 minutes, and that gives you that lovely crunchy biscuit. Transfer to a wire rack and allow to cool completely or serve warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this into a bowl, this mixture, and we're going to move on with the next recipe. I've got a bit of golden syrup dripped on there. I'm trying not to get it everywhere. Okay. Now the next one I'm making is the oatmeal and raisin. I don't know if you can tell, but I love oatmeal. Biscuits with oatmeal in them. And I don't have any raisins. I thought I had a bag of raisins, but I don't. So what I'm using instead is sultanas. And the sultanas need using up anyway because they're extremely dry and sugary. So, there's a, with the TM7, they've changed the shape of the spatula so it's long and skinny. So it looks like I'm going to be getting my TM7 as a consultant. I'll be getting that in at the end of May. So I've got to go. I've got to go into Townsville for training, so I can show everyone how to use it myself. So I'm looking forward to it a little bit. I'm looking forward to checking out all the new features and everything. So once I've got mine, I'll be able to start doing demos for the TM7. So if any of you are interested, I do demos in Claremont, or we can do Zoom demos. So if you want to book in a demo with me, just let me know. You can either, probably the best way is to go over onto my Facebook page, which is linked in the description box below. Go over to my Facebook page and drop me a message and we can do a demo. In Australian only, please. Rightio. So now let's go to my week. And I haven't made these ones for a little while, so I can't remember the steps. So oatmeal raisin cookies, start cooking. Preheat the oven to 180. So these ones cook at a little higher temperature than the Anzacs. Line 2 large baking trays with paper. Now we're going to start off with, we want 100 grams of unsalted butter. So I should have grabbed another thing of butter out of the fridge. Rightio. that's 99 grams. 98. Now, very good. 85 grams of caster sugar, which is what we just made. A 100 grams of brown sugar. Here we go. 1 large egg. Rightio, I'm feeling daring. I never do this. I'm going to go straight in with an egg into my batter. Perfect anyway. Beautiful egg. 2 teaspoons of vanilla sugar. All natural vanilla extract. So what I've got here is some vanilla sugar that I made using the Thermomix with white sugar and vanilla bean. So this is our 3rd sugar now that we've made with our Thermomix. So, and it's all been using white sugar. I mean, the only additional thing was when we made brown sugars, we added a few teaspoons of molasses, and with the vanilla sugar we used a vanilla bean, just a small vanilla bean. Okay, measuring cup on, or lid with the measuring cup. 2 minutes. Speed 3. And we're just going to mix that together. Okay, that's one of the trays of Anzac biscuits, and I've just scooped them out into a ball and press them down lightly with a fork. Now I'll put this back over here. And we'll have a look at this. This was just mixing our sugars and butter together. Okay, so now 140 grams of plain, did I put coconut? I did put coconut in that, in those Anzacs, didn't I? I can't remember doing it. Yes, we did. We did, I remember now. Now, 180 grams of rolled oats. So, and if you have a Thermomix, if you buy rolled oats, you can make quick oats just by chopping them, milling them a bit with the Thermomix. When I'm making my own Anzac biscuit recipe, I always mill the oats first. But today, we're going with guided cooking. 140 grams of raisins. Wonder where I put my sultanas. I'll have to, I'll get them. I tidied up the kitchen before and I remember putting them away now. So if you just, they're a bit, you see they're a bit crystallised and looking. Let's put them all in. use them up. What's that? 173, an extra 33 grams. And then I can wash that up, and I've got a new bag of sultanas that can go in that. Half a teaspoon of bicarb. I don't know where I've put my bicarb. It's here. But with you making all your own varieties of sugar, it makes it extremely cheap. I mean, because your white sugar is the cheapest sugar you can get. Caster sugar is a little bit dearer, but it's a per kilo price. So just blending it up milling it in the Thermomix to give you a finer grain for the same price as white sugar. The same as brown sugar. Brown sugar is dearer than your normal white sugar. You can also use raw sugar. I buy both. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. I make my own baking powder using white rice. With the white rice I make rice flour, then I add bicarbonate of soda and cream of tartar. And we get baking powder, which once again is a lot cheaper than buying the baking powder from the supermarket. And these are just a few things, if you're looking at saving money, where the Thermomix can save you money. Lid on. 15 seconds using the dough mode. So the dough mode is a standalone mode on the Thermomix, whereas some of the modes aren't. Your high heat mode and your sugar mode are both only available in Cookidoo recipes. Okay, now let's have a look and see what that looks like. And I'm going to give that a mix, and then we might give it another knead, because if you can see, the some of those sultanas aren't quite mixed in. Even though that's mixed pretty well. Rightio. And it's the same. The first lot is going to go in at 160 for 10 to 12 minutes, and these are going to go in at 180 for 10 to 12 minutes. So I'll be back when we've got all the biscuits cooked, and we'll have a look. So I'll just show you that. That's our Anzac biscuits there, and these are the oatmeal and raisin biscuits, except we use sultanas instead. So these here, I cooked them the least amount of time, so they're still quite soft. They're not crispy and crunchy like a delicious. And these ones here are just slightly warm, and they're supposed to be crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle, and they are definitely, and they're supposed to have formed cracks. Okay. So they are two quick and easy biscuits that I make using ingredients that I always have in my house. And that's what I like about. I've always baked my own cakes and biscuits. I've never been one to buy packet bought, you know, like bakery cakes and packet biscuits, even though in the last few years I've definitely moved to buying supermarket biscuits. We love the black and gold or the generic brand ginger nuts. Our favourites, we eat them all the time. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up, pop over to my channel and subscribe, and I really hope I'll see you next time.